Oh, women can be smart. I like a man who looks like a brick. Hello guys, and welcome back to our channel. I'm Julie.
I'm Jiayi.
And today we're gonna be talking about our types. Before we met, what were we into and why did we choose to be together? So I hope you'll enjoy today's video and that you'll consider subscribing and maybe giving this video a like. Yeah. Let's get started.
So Julie, before we met, what physical attribute do you prefer?
I've always known that I wasn't really into like blonde hair, blue eyes. The very typical Scandinavian man was not my type. I prefer like dark hair, dark eyes, definitely. I like someone who's physically like bigger than me. It doesn't mean you need to be tall, but because I've never had a height preference. If anything, I actually don't like a man who's like too much taller than me because then I feel like a midget. I don't really like men to be too skinny. I think when we met, I told you like, oh, a man needs to weigh this much more than me.
Yeah.
Otherwise, it's not even a discussion. And he needs to be physically strong enough to lift me. That's a legit requirement.
So your type needs to be like convincing.
Like I always tell my friends I like a man who looks like a brick. Very solid.
Because you like the wrestler body type.
Like I'm not into like the very skinny waist on men.
Yeah, you don't like this shape.
No, not really. Like, and this is not to say that it doesn't look good. It's just not what I'm personally attracted to. First thing I noticed in his pictures, like, was first of all that he had big arms and big shoulders. I was like. And then it was the fact that his face looked very cold. I like the cold appearance. And he looked good in a suit, which is one of my other things. I like men who wear suits. Nice suits, not cheap suits, but like a really nice put together suit where I can tell that you cared about how you look in it. So what about you?
I like tall women. I'm not shy about it.
No, he told me right away.
Yeah, and I like people who have big smile. Yeah, I like people, I would say, who look like grown up.
Yeah, you like mature, like the very like womanly thing.
Yeah,
you like the stereotype. I think both of us, funny enough, like the traditional stereotype.
I don't like the little girl type. Yeah, there are a lot of people like.
Yeah, it's big here. I gotta say, like in Europe, it's not a thing you see a lot. So that, I think, for a lot of Westerners will be a bit shocking when they come to Asia because it's so hyped here. Where in my country, it's very like, oh, you gotta mature fast. Like, looking mature is seen as a compliment when you're young. Like, teenagers want to look mature and womanly.
I mean, in Dongbei, we have a word for this. It's like 大方.
I think in that, like, Dongbei and that Myron are very, very similar.
Yeah.
Because we both value, like, that very, like, strong, independent woman is a popular thing. I can appreciate that China gives women space to be girls when they are girls. Yeah. I think that is something that could be a lot better in Europe because we push girls at a very young age to look like women. Yeah,
a lot of people said, oh, Westerners look mature. It's just, you know, they tend to
push themselves to grow up faster.
Yeah, they want to be grown up. They want to look like grown up.
So do you remember that someone left us a comment telling us, like, looks isn't everything, don't focus on appearance? Like, someone went a little bit crazy
on YouTube.
Yeah, on our first video about that. And I think people will assume that we only cared about appearances, and of course it plays a role because we met on a dating app. So your pictures is probably like 70 or 80% of why a person will give you a shot, if not more. Yeah. But I feel like we should talk about the personalities we like because of course he is my type. He fills my criteria perfectly. Especially the fact that you can lift me with one arm. Okay. Gold star. And I am tall, so let's talk about what kind of personality you like first.
I think I prefer people who are outgoing. Yeah, people who are talkative, People who know a lot, people who are curious. That's very important.
Mm-hmm.
People who are smart.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Yeah. So she fits it perfectly.
Oh, women can be smart.
光长头发不长脑子。
Oh shit.
Sorry, I had to.
What a world.
I know, it's so shocking.
Yeah. People who can really hold a conversation. Yeah.
Yeah, I think your relationship, no matter who you are, is kind of doomed from the get-go if you can't talk with each other.
Yeah.
Because let's say you want to spend the next 40 years together, you need to talk a lot. I think for me, it's a lot of the same stuff. I want someone outgoing because I am extremely outgoing. So I want someone who's like a happy-go-lucky person. I think I'm a person that tries to focus on like what makes my life happy. And I try to do like the whatever about things that bother me when I can. So I want someone who's the same, someone who has a lot of drive in their life, who knows what they want, who's very like, someone who's never satisfied with just this.
Yeah.
Because I think even though I'm very, very happy with my life, like I love that we're together now. It has definitely improved my life like 1,000,000,000%. But but I'm still looking for like, oh, let's build more, like let's do more, let's experience more. Like I'm never gonna be satisfied with just like the life I have.
Yeah. I guess you don't like people who stay at home all the time. I think we're quite similar.
Yeah.
I want a go-getter.
Yeah, he's
that type of person.
He's an Aquarius. For the people that know astrology, this will make a lot of sense if you hadn't already guessed it. I'm a Sagittarius, so I'm certifiably crazy to deal with.
Yeah, I'm a thinker.
Yeah. He's always in his head, and it's so real. He's always going around being like,
what if?
Yeah, what if? And that's also a thing I love about you, is that you always... I like someone who thinks a lot, someone who challenges like the norm.
I think both of us find it super amazing, the process of looking for the truth.
Yeah, or coming up with our own theories about historical events, like how to understand things from multiple perspectives is something I'm super into.
Yeah.
So in that, I also want to say that I love having a partner that challenges me. If I'm being an ass, I want you to tell me like, Julie, seriously, cut the shit. Because that's something I'll respect later on.
Yeah, I think that's the thing. You don't want a simp.
No.
Or like a slave.
I have met people that were like that. Like a lot of men act like that at first, and for me it's instantly like, I think you're super nice, but no. Like I don't want someone who looks up to me.
Yeah.
My partner should be 100% my equal. And I want them to treat me like an equal. Both, like I don't want you to look down on me, but I don't want you to look up to me either. I just want you to see me for who I am as a human. The fact that we could have those deep conversations from day one, I was so amazed. I was like, oh my God. Like, this man is actually having like legitimate conversations.
I still don't know how it happened.
I still don't know either.
Yeah.
We started talking and then we couldn't shut up.
So, what interest would you like your partners to have?
I mean, a very basic one is that I like keeping fit. I like staying healthy.
Yeah.
And staying active is a big part of my life. I used to ride horses very, very intensely when I was younger. And now that I have gotten older and I stopped riding horses, like fitness is a big thing for me. And it doesn't need to be like going and working out. It can be just that you like a sport, so you have an active lifestyle.
Yeah.
Because I feel like it's tough if it's a big part of your everyday life to stay active and the other person is like a couch potato 24/7. So that's something I like sharing. I love that he worked out, so we could go work out together.
Yeah.
Because it's very fun, I think. And we take it very seriously when we work out together.
Yeah.
It makes me like push myself harder. That's a big one for me. Obviously I like adventure, so I would like someone that likes traveling, but I don't consider that an interest. Unless you're someone that travels multiple times probably at least once a month,
Yeah.
not for work, just for fun time, then you can't say it's an interest, in my opinion. And most of us don't have that type of time.
Yeah, I agree.
Probably the biggest, and that's because of my personal interests, like history, culture, politics. Those three for me is a necessity because I discuss it a lot with friends, family. I'm a very debate heavy person, and not in a way where I want to push my ideals on someone. I just like hearing other people's perception and perspective. My closest friends all live lives that are very, very far away what I choose for my life, but I respect it, and I'm one of the most supportive people with their lifestyle.
Yeah.
So what interests do you like someone to have if you were to date them?
I think ours are quite similar.
Yeah.
Otherwise we won't be together.
We have both said this when we first met, that it was unbelievable because we shared almost identical values.
I've been used to like telling people or explaining to people.
Yeah.
But I didn't need to do that when I talked to you.
I know most of our viewers are male, but I've noticed men tend to do this to women because they assume we don't know stuff. So I think that's a thing I also despise in society a lot. So yeah, I'm happy I got myself a good one. Thank God. So I think another thing that really makes or breaks a relationship or a romantic interest is that we all have expectations of a partner. And I think people very rarely discuss them. So what would you say you want a partner to do for you in a relationship? What do you expect of a partner?
I want my partner to support me when I need their support. And also I need to feel I'm loved. That's the part that people ignore the most, at least for men.
A thing I noticed that you complimented me for early on,
Yeah.
when we talked about it, was that I would wait. I would give him space to talk, and I would show that I listened. I think a lot of us sometimes forget to listen in today's world. Like, a lot of us have become used to being very focused on what we want.
Yeah.
And in a relationship, you do have to give up a little bit of that.
Like you can't be
Center.
that selfish.
You can't be the center of everything.
Yeah.
And you shouldn't want to be, you know. Yeah.
And I also expect my partner to be a very kind person. Also very loving person, polite person.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Like, one time he did something, like a cultural difference. What was it you did? It was like this.
Yeah. Like, let's go.
And I instantly like froze up, and I just felt so mad because that's not something you do in my culture. So I was like, okay, don't do that again. Because I told you, I instantly felt annoyed at you.
Yeah.
But obviously I realized that it probably was something different when I confronted you about it. You were like, oh, I'm so sorry. But that was very funny. You've done it one more time on accident, and then you stopped midway through because you remembered that it would make me upset.
Yeah. And also I think people should expect that their partner has similar marriage or family value.
For sure.
Yeah.
Because otherwise I feel like you'll just constantly be fighting and there'll be a kid there.
So what's your expectation on your partner?
So I always expect a partner. Again, I said equality, and I mean that also in the home. Like, obviously there'll always be someone that does slightly more in periods. Like, let's say you're working a lot of overtime. Of course, I'll pick up more of the slack at home. Like, for example, if you one day have kids together, I want to know for a fact that when I'm overwhelmed, which every parent gets, that you're gonna be there for me and tell me like, hey, I booked you like a spa trip, or like, go to the hairdresser, get your hair done, feel good about yourself. I'm taking the kids, don't worry about anything. And you leave me alone and don't call me and ask for help. So I can also be the person I want to be and still be myself. Like, enjoy my own interests. Yeah, I gotta say I was so surprised because he spoils me a lot. Because I don't mean like presents necessarily. He does give me stuff. Like, every time we're out, he's like, do you want it? And I'm always like, no. Because I feel awkward asking.
Then I'm not being a qualified boyfriend. A qualified boyfriend shouldn't ask.
Oh, you should just get it. But then I'll get mad at you.
See, that's the difference.
Why?
You get mad if I don't ask.
Maybe I was just looking at it because I found it interesting, but I don't want to wear it. And now I feel like if he bought me a necklace that I don't love, I'm forced to wear it now to show how grateful I am. For example, if I'm like, oh, I'm not feeling so good, that he's like, oh, let me get you something to drink. Remember to eat. Like, those things mean a lot because it shows the little caring moments. It's
I think that's the bare minimum.
It should be.
Yeah.
But I gotta say, my experience is different. My parents also say like, he loves her so much. My parents were super happy when they met him.
Yeah.
In December, because they were like, oh, he just does whatever for her. Like, he'll do whatever it takes for Julie. And it made my parents feel very relieved, because I gotta say that's a quality that can be very difficult to find.
Because, you know, some people set a lot, and they probably believe they can do it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And I think that's probably the last thing is, I'm a person, but don't tell me you're gonna do something if you're not gonna do it. A promise is a promise. Like, especially a partner, I should be able to trust that you'll do whatever you can to keep your promises.
Yeah.
Because sometimes, of course, stuff happens, but it shouldn't be something you expect your partner to be okay with either. You should be apologetic.
The problem is she is too apologetic. And she's making me very apologetic now.
That's true, he does say sorry more now.
Yeah.
In the beginning, he was like, stop saying sorry, you make me feel awkward. Because I guess in Chinese culture, you say sorry to people you're not close with, right? And like, thank you to people you're not that close with.
Yeah, and also, like, in some situations, you don't need to say sorry. Yeah.
Oops. I'm sorry.
See?
But I think we should also add that we're like the lucky situation, I would say. I'm very, very lucky to find a partner that just matches me. And like my friends have told me, most Danes, just like most Chinese people, like dating Chinese people. Like, that's most people's preference.
Yeah.
Most Danes also like dating either Danes or other Scandinavians, because you're the same types of people. Automatically, you have a lot more in common. And you usually like the physical appearance of someone who looks similar to you. You shouldn't expect that most Scandinavian women automatically like Asian men. And vice versa. I also think most Asian men don't automatically like majority of Western women.
Yeah, you thought you liked Western women, but you probably couldn't handle some situation. And people in Scandinavia who like Asian, who want to date Asian, like people here that wants to date white people. I think you need to be careful to not fall into that fetish
realm.
Yeah.
I would not have chosen any other man to do this for than him.
My partner is Julie. She's not just a Scandinavian woman.
I also want to put out there that if you ask most Scandinavians, I don't fall within the stereotype of Scandies.
Our value or like habit line up.
Yeah, and I would say I have a very easy time in this society because I think a lot of China's societal values happen to match my own.
Yeah.
I trust, even if I ended up looking way different than I do now, Jiayi would still love me the exact same, because it's who I am that he fell in love with. Alright, so I hope that this shed a little bit of light about what made us get together, and also just what type of person we were looking for before we found each other. And yeah, I hope that you guys will come back for future videos of ours, and that you might consider subscribing if you haven't already. And yeah, we'll see you guys in the future.
Bye.
Bye.